I am kind of developing a theme in some of my more recent videos where I want to hurt my own feelings on purpose. And this is another installment in that series. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Hi, hello, how are you? How has your week been? I did a video like this about a year ago that was a big fat fail. I think I read If He Had Been With Me and A Walk to Remember, and I think I shed like one tear. And that was only because like I was actually trying to cry. Don't get me wrong, I do cry at books, but more often than not, it's like not necessarily sad tears. It's just more of like an overwhelming abundance of emotion kind of tears. We're gonna try this again, and hopefully this attempt is better. I am taking inspiration from the lovely Destiny Sidwell, who literally did this video a couple of weeks ago. She posted a video on TikTok asking her followers for recommendations for books that would tear her heart out. So I decided, what better way to find super sad books than to take recommendations from people who have already read them. I feel like this is also an opportunity for me to kind of catch up on books that were super popular several years ago that I never read. Because hi, hello, if you're new here, there was a big chunk of my life where I wasn't really reading, and so a lot of super popular books that came out in the early 2010s, like I never read them. I have already started the first book for this video, which is 5 Feet Apart by Rachel Lippincott. This is the one where they both have cystic fibrosis and they fall in love. But they're like not supposed to, because people who have cystic fibrosis are supposed to keep 6 feet apart from each other at all times. How's that supposed to work? But they did make a movie out of this book, and I have not seen the movie either. So I really don't know what's gonna happen at the end. My guess is that one of them dies. So I started that one. I'm not too far into it. The couple has met, but there's nothing like romantic going on between the two of them yet. So I'm still very early on in the book, but that one is gonna be fun. We'll see if it tears my heartstrings out. The second book I'm gonna be reading is All the Bright Places. I also have not seen the movie for that one as well. Okay, put your pitchforks down, please. I'm sorry. And then the final book I'm gonna be reading is Beartown by Fredrik Backman, which is about hockey. It is not a hockey romance though. Anyways, let us embark on a mission to cry our eyes out. Okay, so I've started reading 5 Feet Apart, and I'm honestly kind of surprised. Like, I think I'm like 35-ish% of the way into the book, because this book is really short. It's like 220 pages or something like that. And so we've only seen like the main characters interact like a tiny little bit. But I'm like, how? I feel like we're gonna have a lot to get through before the end of the book. How are we gonna get that far? Okay, so I'm a little bit further into 5 Feet Apart now. I think I'm like 60% of the way through or something. And now they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in love. And I'm like, you barely know each other. Like, you have barely interacted. Like, how in the world can you say that you're in love? So I finished reading 5 Feet Apart. Guess who didn't cry? Like, at all. Was not at all close to crying. Me. I gave the book a 3 stars. Honestly, I think that's kind of high. I'm kind of trying to refine the way that I rate books. I just feel like I kind of rate everything at 3 stars. Like, 3 stars for me means like, oh yeah, like I enjoyed this book, but also it means like, it was fine. Which I feel like is not like helpful. Low-key, the book was very insta-lovey. It took like 30% of the book for the characters to even really interact. And then like by 50%, like the girl was like, oh my gosh, I'm falling in love. And I'm like, girl, you barely know this guy. And then I started reading All the Bright Places. This one, I think I'm enjoying more than 5 Feet Apart, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna cry at it. 2/3 of the way into All the Bright Places. And I'm kind of like wanting it to be done. I'm not like that interested in the book. I'm honestly like not really connecting to either of the characters at all. I never like really get sad when I'm reading books that are like supposed to be sad. I'm just like not that interested in the books that are like supposed to make you feel something. So I finished reading All the Bright Places. I was honestly less than impressed. I mean, I just don't think I'm the target audience for that kind of book. You know, because I generally kind of like read books for escapism. To read books that are like pretty angsty, it doesn't exactly accomplish the goal that I have when it comes to reading. I don't know, like maybe I didn't give it a fair shot. I honestly feel like I could have connected a little bit more with Violet if we had had a little bit more of her. But since we spent a majority of the time focused on Theodore, on Finch, he was a very outlandish character. I just like really didn't mesh with him. The events of the book were really sad, but just like overall, because I was so disinterested and disconnected from the characters, I just like didn't really care. Which like sounds really bad to say, considering like if you've read this book, like you know what the events are at the end of the book. But like, I don't know what to tell you. I don't want to lie to you and say that I enjoyed this book just because it deals with a lot of sensitive subject matter. Now it is time to read Beartown by Fredrik Backman. I am very excited about this book. All I know about this book is that there's a little town and they play hockey. Don't know anything about like the specific characters or anything, but I am excited about reading this book. I've heard it's heart-wrenching, so let's get into it. I'm honestly like not that far into Beartown. I'm currently on page 58. But so far we're kind of just still getting to know the characters. The big hockey game like hasn't even started yet. But I'm kind of hoping to just like sit here and finish this book. Sorry the clip is so backlit, but I'm about 50-ish% through Beartown now. And it's kind of crazy because like every 5 seconds you're switching POVs of a character, and like you'd think that'd make it hard to follow, you know, especially when like you don't really know the characters all that well. But like it's not that hard to follow. And like you're really getting to know so many of the characters, which is like kind of crazy. Because like in some books, authors have a hard time writing it so that you can get to know 2 characters. But Fredrik Backman has written it so that you can get to know like 17 characters. Time to get reading. Last night I finished Beartown. Oh word. That was incredible. I didn't cry, unfortunately. It was just absolutely incredible. And Fredrik Backman, there are so many character POVs that you get in this book, and yet somehow he manages to make you care about every single one of them. Okay, maybe I didn't care about like 2 of them because they were mean, but everybody else, I'm like, how on earth has he managed to create these connections between you and these characters in a little over 400 pages? But like, I have so many pages dog-eared because like the quotes were just like, let's see if I have a good one on here. All adults have days when we feel completely drained, when we no longer know quite what we spend so much time fighting for, when reality and everyday worries overwhelm us and we wonder how much longer we're going to be able to carry on. The wonderful thing is that we can all live through far more days like that without breaking than we think. The terrible thing is that we never know exactly how many. Like, are you kidding me? A simple truth, repeated as often as it is ignored, is that if you tell a child it can do absolutely anything or that it can't do anything at all, you will in all likelihood be proven right. Like, those just like hit you right in the heart. If I keep thinking about it, it might be a 5-star, but I guess right now I'd put it at a 4.5. So overall, I read 3 books for this video, but it was a fail because not one single time did I cry. So the first book I read was 5 Feet Apart. That book, I don't know, I guess it was just really short, and so it felt quite insta-lovey because like the book was less than 300 pages. And I'm like, I'm not sure how you thought you could build up a relationship for me to care about in less than 250 pages. Then I read All the Bright Places and I was just bored, which like feels terrible to say, okay? Because like the book deals with like deep, intense subject matter, but I'm reading this and I'm like, is it over yet? I don't know what's wrong with me. But then I read Beartown and this was just an incredible book. Go put this on your TBR if it isn't already. I rated 5 Feet Apart a 3 stars, and I rated All the Bright Places a 2.75 stars. And I'm rating Beartown a 4.5 stars. No tears were shed, unfortunately. I guess that's just life. I don't cry at the intentionally sad books, but then I cried at the end of ACOWAR. That is all I have for you guys today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up to let me know that you enjoy this type of content. Comment down below the most sad, heartbreaking book you've ever read that you like cried your eyes out to. And subscribe to my channel for more bookish content in the future. I hope you have a lovely rest of your week and I will see you guys next time. Bye.